They haven't had much success against the Dolphins offense, and it hasn't necessarily been through the air. It's really been on the ground. What does this Patriots defense need to do on Sunday to turn the tide and get a win against Miami for the first time since early 2020 or late 2019?
The issue is it's just such a different group because of the presence of Tyreek Hill. I mean, he really does change everything for an opposing defense in terms of how you game plan, what you do, trying to execute snap to snap. So my belief is they will just get back and make sure this doesn't happen to them. Make sure he doesn't get behind the defense and try to force Tua Tagovailoa to do what he actually does pretty well, Tom, which is throw short, throw accurately, think and dunk his way down the field. We know he has the ability to do that, but I wouldn't risk getting beaten by Tyreek Hill deep down the field, maybe the score getting away from you and your offense a little bit, understanding all the issues your offense has gone through lately.
Yeah, and you remember Bill Belichick referencing some of the plays that he made in the 4-minute drill last year when the Patriots had an opportunity to get the Dolphins off the field in the season opener at Gillette Stadium. They were unable to do it. They had some defensive breakdowns where they were giving a ton of room, and Tua Tagovailoa, he'll take advantage of it and throw those little short passes. He is not prideful. So I think that's one thing you have to really take into account with him is he is an accurate short-range passer. He's got a wacky motion. Yeah, he does bring the ball way down, and he's not the most durable or mobile guy either. But he is, for lack of a better word, a winner. And he won in college, and he's won in the pros. He's helped that team to get to a point where, yeah, he's a 6th overall pick, and he's winning games against Bill Belichick's Patriots. So he's not one to take lightly, and I think we often do that.
Tom, listening to something Phil said, he talked about, really having to stay back, play back, really rely on your secondary. I would assume you would go with a dime or more defense, right? Like 7, 8, maybe even defensive backs. But does that worry you at all then about leaving lanes open for a guy like Tua, who isn't super mobile, but he can run the ball, Tom, and then you're vulnerable up front to them rushing the ball against you? Or are you more concerned about Tua being able to throw the ball deep and just having to cover Waddle and Hill and not having the cornerbacks to do so?
It's funny. You have two elite downfield receivers who can really just blow past people. Tua is not an elite downfield thrower in terms of accuracy, especially. So it's a mix. I don't know which one you would prefer. The Patriots, obviously, when they see 6 defensive backs and a team that has decided that it's going to be light at the second level, they're going to run the ball at you. I don't know if the Miami Dolphins are equipped or inclined to do that yet, with Darrell Bevell as their offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator, and McDaniel. We're going to have to wait and see. But, Phil, when you see what the San Francisco 49ers did with guys like Raheem Mostert and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and the litany of skill position players that they've had over the years, I would imagine that Miami is going to look and just try and speed the Patriots.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Patriots, you try to encourage them to run the football, in all honesty, and just make sure that, listen, if Tua Tagovailoa sees 2 high safeties, and Mike McDaniel's a run game coordinator at one point in time, so I'm sure this has been coached to Tua to an extent. If you see them loaded up with defensive backs and they're dropping deep to take away the explosive play, take what you're given and hand it off. And so I could see them trying to coax the Dolphins to do that, because more runs usually means fewer points, closer game. You try to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I guess the only reason that scares me is because they've run the ball so well against the Patriots defense in the past. All right, to the other quarterback, the Dolphins blitzed at the second highest rate in the NFL last season, nearly 40% of their defensive snaps. And when they did so against Mac Jones and the Patriots, they did it to great effect, limiting Jones to just 6.8 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, 3 sacks. When Miami didn't blitz, however, Jones much better, 8.4 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and he was not sacked at all. So, Curran, how will the Patriots offense handle a blitz-heavy Dolphins defense?
Make them pay. Make them pay, make them pay, make them pay. Be quick with your reads, be quick with your pre-snap diagnosis, and get it out quick to Kendrick Bourne. Get it out quick to Jacoby Myers. Make sure that you're proper in blitz pickup, whether that's Ty Montgomery or Ramondre Stevenson or whoever is on the field in third down. Make sure that Mac has an understanding of who he is going to be responsible for. And most importantly, Phil, make sure the offensive line understands who they're picking up. Because that will be, and we saw this in the preseason, we saw free rushers from the Raiders. We saw free rushers from the New York Giants. They've seen blitzes already in this preseason, and Matt got whacked around a little bit.
They did, and they didn't even see that many. They did in that Giants preseason game, but Patriots starters didn't play in that game.
Yeah.
So outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of exotic stuff that this first-team offensive line had to deal with. And when they did see it occasionally, it didn't go so well for them. So Ted Karras, big brain Ted Karras, big brain Shaq Mason, all kinds of experience between those two guys. Those guys are out. We know Cole Strange and Micah Wenu are in. There's going to be a lot on their shoulders and on the shoulders of David Andrews to make sure that they have everything covered. I think, Trenni, you'll probably end up seeing a lot of max protection, so you'll keep the running back in, you'll keep a tight end in. The issue there is you might be better protected, but then you only have maybe two guys running their routes down the field, and the Dolphins have pretty good coverage players, so they're going to be difficult matchups for Mac Jones to try to pick apart.
Who can maybe help him take advantage of those matchups? Is it, which receiver might sort of stand out and help Mac on Sunday?
So I think the X factor in this game is Devonte Parker, because he gives them something that they didn't have last year. Mac Jones was blitzed among among NFL quarterbacks the highest blitz rate, I think, of any quarterback outside of Lamar Jackson last year. So teams love to blitz the Patriots because they were not afraid of getting beat deep. Now, Devonte Parker's not a burner, but at least he is a boundary threat. And so with him out there, maybe the Dolphins say, we better take that body out of the box, or we better take that blitzer off the line of scrimmage and put him over the top and make sure that we take away the deep shot to Devonte Parker. If they can hit one or two deep throws to Parker early, I think that really could soften up the Dolphins' defense, and it could encourage them not to blitz as much as they want to.
It's a bit of a dice roll too, Trent. When you look at that, if they're going to try and answer that, you can't afford to be going 3 and out in the heat and putting that defense back on the field. I just love the opener. Every year you love the opener because there's so much unknown, and there's factors that enter into this game, like the heat, like the communication issues that the Patriots might have as they get ready. Hey, maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll hit Nelson Aguilar. Maybe Jonnu Smith will get 8 touches and end up with 167 yards. Maybe they'll be locked up on the front. That's all to the good. We like when they're good as opposed to when they're not good. So I can't wait for the game to get here because that's just months and months and months. But the blitz and the offensive line, it's huge.